Hi my friends, Sam Villa here. I'm in Miami, Florida at the Styles Studio. And I'm very excited to partner up with Styles Studio in regards to sharing content with them. Now you're probably wondering, who's Styles, Sam? I want you to go to your phone, go to the apps, and I want you to download the Styles app, S-T-Y-L-E-Z. Now I support this app because of the educational content, but even more than that, they support the hairdresser behind the chair. You wouldn't believe the things that they're doing in terms of arming you with education that can help you behind the chair. Not only that, but supporting you with your client. Make sure you check them out. Also, what I'm going to do here today is I want to go through and share with you a curtain fringe. Now, a curtain fringe has been out there happening, but I think if you could find a number of ways to cut it, it keeps a sense of enthusiasm behind the chair. Now, with Hyatt, what I want to do is I pre-section this. So I've taken what I see as that curtain. And all I want to do is show you where do you position it, Sam, and how do you cut it. So you can see that I pre-taken a triangle section. And that triangle section is what I'm going to cut. Now let's talk about what a curtain is. A curtain happens from a middle part. Have you ever had a client that says, I want a curtain, and she says she parts it on the side? Okay, then what she's going to get is she's going to get a curtain and a drape. So remember, it starts in a middle part. That's the effect of a curtain. Let's take a vertical section, just slightly on a diagonal, so we take some hair from her right side and some hair from her left side. Now I'm going to give you a profile view of how I'm going to be elevating this and the angle I'm going to be cutting and how we determine our length. I'm working with a white comb on dark hair. Now what I want to do is I want to create a degree of shortness in the center, but I want to get longer as I go. So I've taken a section. I'm going to elevate straight out parallel with the floor. My finger angle is going to be vertical. I'm going to determine that I want to cut that about to the middle of her nose. So now I'm going to come through and I'm just going to point cut that. Now I'm going to take my next vertical section on her left side. Now it's going to be horizontal to you, but to my path of the eye, that's vertical. So it depends upon the perspective of how you're looking at it. Horizontal section to your eye. To my eye, a vertical section. We take that, everything is over directed to the center. So I'm pinching everything to the center of her nose, that middle part. Elevation is here. Now watch what I'm going to do. What's interesting is I want to share with you a technique called reverse graduation. I'm going to use the spine of the comb, and there's my guide of what I just cut. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide that guide until I can no longer see it into my finger. Whatever's left is what I'm going to take. So I'm actually detaching sections now, not just areas. So normally I'd cut to that guide. What I've discovered by doing this, it gives this curtain fringe a little bit more flickiness, which is what you're looking for in the curtain fringe. By extending each section, and what we refer to as reverse graduation, there's my guide. Watch how that's going to disappear in between my fingers. Now once that's disappeared in between my fingers, come in a notch. Okay, now watch. There's my length from my first section, and here's my length from my second section. Take your third section, I'm bringing everything up to that. This is going to keep the edge very soft and lightweight by detaching each section. Okay, we come through. Let's take a look. There's my first section, my second section. I hide that second section, meaning it's inside my finger now. I can't see the guide. When that happens, go ahead and cut. Now watch what happens. Watch when I release this, how I get this angle, but this angle is very soft, so that what we get is, we get the idea of this happening. So when she does this, look how that's short enough there, just almost like in her eye, but this does this. And that's what we're talking about, a curtain fringe. It just kind of drapes itself back. Opposite side now. We're going to repeat the same procedure. Working with vertical sections to the perspective of your eye now, over directing to each section to the center, and then we're going to go through, we're going to elevate each section so it's parallel to the floor. Each section, we're going to extend it. So look at my fingers. So each section is getting just slightly longer. By hiding the section that I cut, just hide that in between your fingers, and now you've got your guide in terms of that. So let's take a look. I've taken a slice of her right side, taking a slice, I'm going to take a smaller slice on her right side. I find that when you do reverse graduation, don't get thick with these sections. Okay, now I'm going to come through and I've just taken a slice from there, and I'm just going to look for that guide, that beginning guideline. There it is, right there, and I'm going to take off whatever reaches to this. Now when you point cut, keep the shear open, touch and close on the way out. Touch and close on the way out. Touch and close on the way. This way you're never going to cut yourself. Take our next vertical section. We're going to over direct and pinch to the center. Look how I stepped back and I looked at the top view to make sure that my finger is over that center. Now I'm cutting on this side, so watch me fold across my section, and I'm looking for that short piece that I just cut. There it is there. I'm going to slide that inside so I don't see it, and now I'm going to come through and point cut. Okay, going to take my last section. Now I want you to notice I'm working with a very short shear. I'm working with a Signature Series 5.75. And what I want to do is I like working with short shear when I'm working with shorter hair. Notice I'm not taking off a lot. If I had a lot more length to take off, I'd probably work with a 6.75 streamline, a little bit longer length to the shear. Now I'm looking for where I just cut. Remember, let it extend to that last one. There it is. And remember, see how that just went inside my finger? That's the best way to determine how much hair you take off. And by doing that, watch how that allows me to detach these sections, but it makes this gives it just that sense of it having that airiness to it on the edge. Once we're there, here's what I recommend. Pick up a flat iron. And you want to pick up a flat iron because I'm going to show you how to bevel this. I think one of the most important things is to understand how do you get this to kind of do this in terms of that. But the idea would be that you want to bend that under and then comb it back, work with some product, your hands, and you'll find it's just going to float itself back. Let's go through and work with a flat iron and a round brush. Watch how I'm going to work with a round brush just like I was working with a blow dryer. But instead of working with a blow dryer, I'm choosing to work with a flat iron and a brush. This will give me the bevel that I'm looking for. And I'm talking just a soft bevel. See how I got my bevel? And it happens quickly. Change the way you work. Get the attention of the client and teach them how to do this. Coming through, taking a section. Now can you see how that length just sits right at that eye, but this will move back, so she's got some just kind of falling down. Then you can kind of tweak it in terms of the length. I don't want to take her too short. It's the first time she's experienced a curtain fringe. And then I recommend that when you cut fringes, you tell the client you are now eligible for fringe benefits. And what do I mean by fringe benefits? What I mean by fringe benefits is, if I were you, I would tell the client you are now eligible, my dear Hyatt, is to come in and get a free fringe trim between each haircut. So all I gotta do is call the front desk, tell them you wanna come in for a fringe trim. They will book it in between two clients and it's free. My friends, drive the client back into the salon. You maintain the length of the fringe for them. Don't let them cut it. Yet most importantly, you are driving them back into the salon. And they're going to say, thank you so much, Sam, for doing that. Do I owe you anything? No, you don't. What I would like you to do is pick up some of that product that I suggested that you purchased last time. And that's the way that they will say thank you to you in terms of doing that. So let's just take a look and see. Okay. You can just start to see how I get that moving back, and I've got a little bit of length. I'd probably just take that a little bit off, but I don't want to panic her too much. Come through. Let's go through on this side. And you can see by me just beveling that off, you can just see how it goes back. So let's come through and let's take a 7-inch. And I just want to take that just a little bit shorter. Even though I beveled it, I just think it's still too long. So look how I just come in and I will just kind of bite off the length by going in and flexing the shear. Working with a 7-inch blade, dry cutting, but I've got the swivel. Look how it allows me to keep my arm straight. And look, it's not like you have to take off a lot. See, that is what I'm looking for. Let's take a look at the opposite side. and see if there's any more I need to take off. Do you see how I just kind of flip this shear and just see how it just allows me to keep my arm straight? So I'm just kind of moving the hair and just seeing what's going to fall down, and that's what I'm going to go in and take. So I want to get this little piece here. Keeping the shear very steep, so I keep that soft. Remember, the more hair you pick up, the more you cut, the more you're going to go through and get it blunt. And it's not a blunt line that I'm looking for. So once again, just wanted to share with you another way to cut a curtain French. Let's recap it. Triangle section, slight diagonal from each side, pinching and over directing to the center. Our degree of elevation was horizontal, parallel to the floor. The angle that we cut was vertical, yet what we did was point cut. That was our guide. The second section we took, we actually slid the guide so it disappeared in my fingers. As soon as I saw it disappeared, I cut my second section. Third section, same thing. Past the first section, past the second section, till it disappears, and cut it. By detaching each section, you're getting a much softer edge. Going through and repeating the same thing on the opposite side. When you're done, I encourage you to use a flat iron or round brush. It's a very quick way to get a nice bevel. Once you've achieved that, just come in and start to freehand what it is that you see that you want to go in and lift that length up a little bit. Once again, Sam Villa here in Miami, Florida at Style Studio. We thank you so much for watching.